20 players have already earned their ticket to Augusta National Golf Club on Saturday morning. But Paige, 11 players still remain playing for 10 spots. As we take a look at the leaderboard, these women know they're heading to Augusta National, led by the top-ranked amateur in the world, Jennifer Kupcho.
We've seen some fantastic golf from these women already over the first couple of days. And, of course, you and I have the pleasure now of a little bit of bonus golf, but so many of these women have dreamed of now playing Augusta National in competition. Those dreams are coming to a reality come Saturday.
31 Americans, 41 international women in the field this week, representing 25 different countries. As we again reiterate, a big playoff in store. They're going to play the 10th hole, the 17th hole, the 18th hole if needed. They'll go off in 3 groups momentarily, but 11 players for 10 spots for a coveted tee time at Augusta National Golf Club Saturday morning. The playoff starts on 10, a par 4. They'll go in 3 groups, a group of 3, then 2 groups of 4. Sudden death format, so it's going to be an interesting dynamic, Paige, as a group will play, and then they have to wait and see what the next 2 groups do.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch kind of how the rhythm of this plays out. I think a lot of the players would prefer to be out in that first group, get that first hole under their belt rather than wait. But any way you cut it, you're going to be waiting either on that 10th tee or on the 10th green as these 3 groups complete that first playoff hole.
And take a look at the 11 competitors we will see over the course of the next hour or 2. A couple of names that stick out. How about Andrea Lee from Stanford, who just won for the 8th career time this past weekend in a college event?
She was one of the favorites coming into this week. Had a rough first day. Put herself now in position to advance, but certainly I think a lot of people were expecting that she would be closer to the top of the leaderboard than in this playoff.
And there was plenty of leaderboard watching with that par 5 18th. Could someone take advantage? Could something magical happen? Like 17-year-old So Young Kwon from South Korea, her second at the par 5 last.
And it's an exciting finishing hole. So many of the players were able to get close to reaching it, if not reaching it today. That whole location just in the front, very popular landing place right here where she left it, and trying to at least get birdie. At this point, you didn't know exactly where the cut line was going to be, but
how about an eagle? She started at 5 over. That gets her in at 3 over par. That cut line was teetering between +3, +4, and I think even though a teenager, she knew that was something special. How about 19-year-old Yo Sung Ho from the University of Arizona, their 3rd at 18 from the greenside bunker.
And just a miscue. It was not that difficult of a bunker shot. Put herself out of position. Now this for par, knowing she's going to need it at least, and instead drops from +3 to +4.
The reaction says it all. A par at the last would have been good enough. Here with her sister, Yo Chang Ho. And it's something she won't soon forget. How about Anna Redding, 4 over par, her 3rd at 18.
Yeah, and in the same group where you see that disappointment from Yoo Sung Ho, Anna Redding puts herself in good position. This is all she needed for a birdie on the last to move from 4 over into that 3 over position, which ultimately means bonus and more golf for her.
22-year-old from North Carolina, senior at the University of Virginia. She'll advance to the playoff. And then how about Alexa Pano, 14 years of age, birdied 7, birdied 8, this to finish up with another at 9 to get in at 3 over.
He had a name that so many of us are familiar with from her history at drive, chip and putt at Augusta in the national finals, as well as nearly winning on the developmental tour in a professional event just a couple of weeks ago.
Then back over at 18, 24-year-old Ainoa Alora, one of 2 college graduates in the field after a double bogey at 17. That for par at 18 to get in at 3 over par. You think this means something? Her former college coach, Kaylin Anderson, on the bag, and the groups have now been determined. They'll go off again a group of 3, then back-to-back groups of 4. And it's in the order of finish. So Kaylee Telfer, Sophia Anakina, and Amanda Doherty will lead things off. And we expected something special this week. We've seen a lot of it, and we're going to continue to see it here again at the 10th hole. And Paige, as these women regroup, try to refocus, what are some keys at this point, knowing what's at stake, to sort of put the blinders on and just stay in the moment?
Well, knowing that of the 11 players, 10 will advance. In this situation, you don't want to beat yourself. You want to put yourself in good position off the tee, give yourself a chance at a birdie putt, and at worst make par. The last thing you'd want to do is put yourself out of position. You don't want to beat yourself in this situation.
11 players remain, 10 spots up for grabs to earn one of those final tee times to Augusta National Golf Club for the third and final round of this Augusta National Women's Amateur on Saturday morning. To get things going, 20-year-old South African Kaylee Telfer, sophomore at Auburn. Exactly the start you would hope for.
Without question. Anywhere in the fairway is a good play. Only 385 yards.
Up next, Sofia Anakina, 21-year-old from Russia. What a moment this could be for that country. Senior at Arizona State University. And the third member of this first group in the playoff, Amanda Doherty, 21 years of age, from the United States, plays her college golf at Florida State. So a couple in the fairway. That one maybe just a bit wayward for Doherty. As we take a look at this par 4 attempt to get things going, Paige.
Yeah, the fairway slopes from left to right. That's why you're seeing a lot of the players hedge to the left. There is an opening, and it is pretty open from that left rough, as we saw in that last tee shot. But for these players, the second shot plays slightly downhill today, crosswind into a little bit off of the right. And this whole location in the back right portion of the green, it's in the flattest area of the green. So players can be aggressive towards it. It's 15 paces over the edge of that bunker. So there is plenty of room for release as they approach into this green.
So that first group of 3 off with their tee shots. They're at the par 4 10th. And again, 3 groups, that first of 3, then back-to-back groups of 4. And think about Kaylee Telfer. She shot 69 yesterday. She was in 3rd place beginning the second round. Dropped back with a 78. So how does she personally straighten out and realize this hasn't been the best of days, but she can still achieve a huge goal here in this extra golf?
And that's the thing. It's a reset opportunity for some of the players that have struggled in this round 2 to be able to put things back together in this playoff and in this format, knowing that 10 will advance out of the 11. Again, it's about playing a little bit more conservatively, putting yourself in position and not making the mistake that could cost you this opportunity.
Okay, Cockrell down on the course, checking out all the action for us, and has an update on Amanda Doherty's tee shot.
Yeah, her tee shot is going to be just fine. She came close to the hazard, but it's actually right on the curb next to the cart path. She will have a little bit of challenge for her second in that a pine tree is kind of right on the line to the hole.
Paige, what's the biggest playoff you've ever been involved with? Have you ever been in something where there have been multiple groups?
No, I have not. And the interesting part about these multiple groups is we're seeing such representation from all around the world. In this particular group, we have South Africa, Russia, and the United States represented. We're going to see South Korea, France, Italy, Spain as well. It's pretty incredible when you look at this event and the impact that it can have around the world when you're highlighting the best players in the world.
Sofia Inakina getting ready to hit her approach into 10. Parred this hole, the first 2 rounds at Champions Retreat.
You know, and I spoke with her college coach, Missy Farr Kay, and she said one of her strengths is mental toughness. And I think in this situation, the ability to focus, the ability to stay in your own game is extremely important. There's a lot on the line. There's a lot of people watching. And the ability to kind of know who you are and yourself and your game, and very important.
A good lie. Sofia has a good lie.
Far left part of the fairway, back right hole location. How much of an advantage can that be?
It's in good shape, and you can see it's a flatter part of the fairway as well. Ball slightly below her feet, which actually can benefit the ball shape.
Oh, that's a nice shot. Really zeroed in with that distance very well.
Wonderfully played there by Sofia, so she's going to have maybe 12, 13 feet for birdie here at the par 4 10th, the first playoff hole here at the Augusta National Women's Amateur. Up next, Kaylee Telfer.
Kaylee has 131 yards. This plays a little bit downhill, but Paige, like you said, a little bit of wind hurting in from the right. A little indecision there. I think the wind is just dying down a little bit.
I've seen this ball release quite a bit as well. It is the flattest portion of the green coming in from a downhill situation.
Well, that sounded a little thin and left it out to the right.
Short right there for Telfer with her approach shot. Sofia already in to that back part of the green, third member of this group, and she's appears to be getting a little bit of relief from the cart path.
She was right up on the curb on the edge of the grass, and this is actually a good relief in that it's taking her further right of the pine tree. Still going to have to manufacture a shot of sorts, kind of keep it below the pine trees, sort of outstretched limbs that are towards the top. She's also coming off a downhill lie in the rough, but it's a relatively good lie. The rough is not very long and treacherous.
There is a bit of a ridge that kind of cuts this green in half. If she can get over that ridge and let it feed, it will feed down towards that hole, as long as she has a shot at the flagstick, which I believe she does.
And she has 125 yards to the hole, 100 to the front, another 25 that the hole is located on. So I think if she could land this about 110, 115 and let it release, like you said, because it is going to be coming in with a lower trajectory.
Yes, yes.
Be a little bit of discussion and how much this is going to jump and release. And she may be a little in between clubs. But whatever she's taking, like if she takes a 9-iron, it's naturally going to be a little lower with the downhill lie.
Second shot now for Amanda Doherty.
Oh, she's lucky that just got onto the fringe. Very close to hopping right and going into the bunker, and it didn't.
It's going to leave a little bit of a challenging two-putt there, kind of over that ridge again, feeding down to the hole.
So the first group on or around the green here at the 10th hole, the first playoff hole for the 10 spots remaining for the Augusta National Women's Amateur. 11 competitors still fighting, battling for that opportunity to have that coveted tee time at Augusta National Golf Club on Saturday morning. Telfer getting ready for her third page. We can see everyone slowing down just a little bit, which maybe isn't a bad thing considering the circumstances.
But you do want to stay in your own routine. You want to stay consistent with what you've been doing, going through your mental checklist and being ready to hit when it's your turn. You don't want to feel like you're out of your element. And I think in this situation, the tendency is to do that. This just a little uphill.
And she played that well, Paige. She had plenty of green to work with, brought it in a little bit lower, and it worked out well.
So Kaylee Telfer will have that remaining for a par as we make our way back to the tee. The second group of 4 getting ready to go. Led off by Alessia Nobilio, the 17-year-old from Italy. One of the 25 countries represented here this week in Augusta, Georgia. Proudly donning that Italian team wardrobe from hat to sweater. I caught a limb up there, saw maybe a couple of pine cones come straight down, but could leave her a long way back for her second. Up next, Emma Spitz, the 18-year-old from Austria.
Very similar place to where we saw
Amanda Doherty over there off the tee on the left. So we'll see if she has some good fortune like Amanda did. Now we'll go back down to the green. Speaking of Amanda, long, we'll call it a birdie opportunity. I think she will gladly take 4 and hope her chances are good enough to move on.
She's just shy of that spine, so she has to ride this ball up a little bit, then it'll go downhill and then start leveling out as it gets to the hole. A good 45-footer. Oh, excellent job with that lag putt.
So from the green at 10, back up to the tee, another teenager, 17-year-old So-Young Kwon from South Korea.
Again, the target is just inside the tree line on the left side. Hugging the right-hand side. Not the best angle, but certainly safe.
And now to the green at 10, Sofia Nanakina. This for birdie.
This would go a long way, wouldn't it, Paige?
This most definitely would secure a position into Saturday's finale.
Nanakina in with par. Smile on her face. Got the job done, at least for the 10th. Now you sit and you watch and you wait and you hope and you keep your fingers crossed probably as well to see how this one is going to play out. Kaylee Telfer for her par.
Very confident stroke. That was excellent up and down.
Two players in with a 4 here at the 10th. Amanda Doherty trying to do the same. Par for the first group of 3 in this 11-player playoff for 10 spots. So now they sit and they wait. They don't move ahead to 17. They have to see what the next 8 players do behind them, but at least they posted a number that potentially at least gives them some more golf, and you never know when it's said and done, might be enough.
And all 3 got it done in very different ways on that first playoff hole.
A bogey by any of the 8 remaining players advances those pars, and again, might be enough to get one of those 10 spots remaining. Alessia Nobilio getting ready for her second shot. Again, remember, it hit the pine cone off the tree, so while it came straight down, that's a lot of club going in.
Now, for most of these women, we heard 9-iron potentially, pitching wedge, 8-iron at most, and now we're seeing metal wood out. So certainly a huge disadvantage.
What are the odds she even hit a golf ball from there during a practice round?
I would doubt that this would be a practice shot.
Gives herself plenty of green with which to work. Might be able to get up and down to make her par. Now up next, So-Young Kwon. As solid as that first group of 3 was, Paige, this next group a little nervy with their tee shots.
Yeah, it's a reasonably generous fairway. For those players that hit a draw, which vast majority of the field does, you can play it down the middle with a draw into that hillside, and it won't go very far as getting out of control once it hits the ground. So I'm a little surprised that we've seen so many of these players miss the fairway.
How much of an advantage was it for that first group to go out and play golf while everyone else now has to wait 20, 30, 40 minutes realizing what's at stake?
For most of these players, the comfort zone is inside the ropes. It's on the golf course, so they want to be out there as soon as possible.
Kwon second. That hybrid.
Landed very softly into the green. Still going to be a difficult two-putt. You can see didn't catch the ridge. It's going to have to be going up and over it.
Agathe Linné from France and the University of Texas. Maybe a little bit of navigating she needs to do here.
Yeah, ideally, you would be hitting a left to right shot, but as I mentioned, most of the players in the field, their typical ball flight is right to left, so this is a very unnatural shot shape for them. But again, you've got that ridge to help you out. If you can just get it to the middle of the green and let it feed, it'd be hugely beneficial.
The wind really started to pick up right now, blowing, hurting, and from right to left.
Shot right there.
She had the shot shape correct, just a little too much weight.
Little body English on that one too.
Yeah, it's going to leave a very difficult pitch.
Somebody yelled for it to sit. I think she knew she had it right on line, but that came out perhaps a bit too hot. Emma Spitz, her approach from the left-hand side of the rough.
Actually has a clear shot from 145 yards. Ooh, that's not going to be an easy up down since that released over the green.
So as that second group makes their way to the green at 10, we make our way back to the tee, the first extra hole here with the final four getting ready to go. Led off by 24-year-old Ainhoa Olara from Spain. Played her college golf at the University of South Carolina. Talked to her a short while ago. She's back in Spain. She's an auditor. She has what she says a real job. I work 9 hours a day and hasn't really played competitive golf in 8 months. How impressed are you that she is in this position she currently is?
Extraordinarily impressed. She's been one of the top-ranked amateur players in the world, in the top 10. I was surprised that she did not turn pro, but she's decided that's not the lifestyle for her. It's a difficult lifestyle to live, being away from home, being away from family. And at the 8th ranked player in the world, still, even though she hasn't played, it's a surprise, but it's certainly wonderful to see her playing well and seeing her play here.
When she got the invitation, she was thrilled, but then said, I had to go to my bosses and see if I could maybe get 10 days off. I haven't even been there a year, and I'm asking for a bit of a vacation, but they thoroughly understood this wonderful opportunity for Olara. Made a double bogey on the 17th hole, a great par save at 18 to get into this playoff at 3 over. Another one in the left rough. Back to the tee with Andrea Lee. Someone we probably wouldn't have thought would have needed a playoff to potentially get to Augusta National on Saturday.
No, extremely accomplished. Finished second at NCAA championship last spring.
Came into this championship with a lot of confidence, winning just 5 days ago out in the desert, her 8th career win at Stanford.
Yeah, and if any of her players would describe her, it would be she would be a machine.
Now up to the green, Alessia Nobilio getting ready for her 3rd.
And she's really been looking this from all angles. It's a tricky shot. She has a lot of green to work with, but she needs to carry it up almost near the back edge of the fringe and probably land it about where the spine is and let it trickle down to the hole. Oh, that didn't sound good. Caught that heavy.
That's a big mistake there.
She'll have that for par as we go to the tee with Anna Redding. 22 years of age, senior at the University of Virginia. And that's a big tee shot. Best we have seen from the 10 players that have already teed off in this playoff. And we'll go back with another, Allison Corpuz. Plays her college golf at Southern Cal. We were monitoring the leaderboard as she finished up on the first 9, a par at her last hole. Got her in the mix here at 3 over. Final group off and running now to the green. Agathe Linné, her third from over the green.
That was excellent touch. Not a lot of green to work with. That is about the only type of shot you can hit from there.
So we take a look at the first group of Telfer, Inakina, Doherty, all in with par. Again, if anyone in the next 2 groups make a bogey, they know they're at least moving on. Now Emma Spitz from a very similar position, her third at 10.
She got a great visual on how to hit the shot.
So 2 reasonably good shots from over the green. They'll have great chances to save their par.
A lot of times the nerves do show up in the short game, whether it's chipping or putting, worrying about grip pressure, distance control. So both those chips very impressive, and we're going to have a chance to see now how the putting is going to fare with the nerves that may be involved in this playoff.
Alessia Nobilio, this for par. Her tee shot hit the tree, came straight down, played her second short left, a very indifferent third shot. And if this doesn't go, the pars that have already been put down and pars that would come would move on to the next hole at the very least. Now maybe she's not aware that 3 pars have already been made. She's just trying to find a way to make 4.
Oh, this is a really tough putt to try to make. I mean, this is a tough putt just to 2-putt. I think at this point she's got to just make a bogey 5 and hope that's going to be good enough to go another hole.
Well, if it weren't for the fact that we knew what was at stake and that really a par would be necessary, at least in the first hole, to know that would be a good lag putt.
So Young Kwan.
Yeah, this is a similar putt. She's got a good sense of the speed of this, just coming off the top of the ridge.
Rolled out just a little bit more than she would have hoped for.
Yeah, the green speeds out here have been quite fast. A lot of the players have commented on how beautiful greens have been rolling. And when you do find yourself above the hole, it rolls out that extra maybe 6 inches or 8 inches. A lot of cleaning up to do around the hole.
They're out in 4, so there's where's the ball marks, where's everyone's line. Make sure that they're well aware of what they need to do, as well as not getting in the way of the others out there.
She should have gotten a teach off her chip shot as well as it rolled by. She should know the line on this putt. Now it's just about execution.
Agathe Linné for par. It's an all-world 4. Creative with the second shot. wonderful up and down from over the green.
Yeah, really impressive shot making, having that kind of control.
See if Emma Spitz can do the same. Awfully impressive, considering what's at stake. A trip to Augusta National for the final round on Saturday. Now So Young Kwan to try to put another par.
And she'd come through so clutch with the eagle chip in to even be in this position on the last hole of regulation. Now just a little bit of a tester coming up. Watch the pace of the stroke, tendencies to speed up a little bit. Confident.
Another 4 put up. There's the 17-year-old. As you alluded to, Paige, it was an eagle at the last when all looked lost, getting her that much closer to the ultimate goal. Now back down to the green here at 10. Alessia Nobalillo, this for bogey 5. Seven players have completed this first extra hole. Groups 1 and 2 are done. They will continue to wait. And as you see with that bogey by Nobalillo, those pars advance. That's the one downside of 11 for 10. Somebody's going to leave disappointed. Now back up the fairway, left-hand side of the rough. O'Lara second.
Yeah, just outside of 170 yards. Yeah, had to play conservatively from that angle and that length. I think she was hoping that would have released a little bit further in the green.
Yeah, surprising with that kind of club in her hand that there wasn't a bigger jump forward.
Great to see so many patrons out watching these first couple of days at Champions Retreat. Now Corpus next to play.
This from 170 yards. Just inside the rough line. Right-hand side of the fairway. I think she was hoping that would fade a little bit more, but it stayed pretty dead straight.
Andrea Lee wasting little time from the center of the fairway.
It's usually where she spends most of her time. Very good iron player. This from 158.
Just off the back collar, similar spot Anakina was in the first group.
And in good position. Again, we know. I'm not certain if the players on the golf course know exactly where they stand or what score will be needed to advance, but certainly we know in this position that Andrea Lee is in good shape.
Paige, I was thinking just the same thing, that maybe they'll find out when they get up on the green what's needed. That was a tremendous try by Redding. Only 130 yards left, coming off a downhill lie. Able to be aggressive with that club coming in.
Excellent.
And the big difference, a short iron coming in as opposed to long irons and hybrids we've seen from others.
Yeah, and we've seen how this golf course has separated the field, and this is a prime example of exactly how it does just that.
Big smile on her face, was reminded after she finished up a short while ago that the Virginia Cavaliers are in the Final Four, and sort of re-energized her. Said, you know, let's set the table here. Let me move to Augusta, and then I can watch the Cavaliers Saturday night in Minneapolis. We know 6 pars have been made, the 1 bogey by Alessia Nobilio. If these 4 all make par, there's your 10 moving on to Augusta National. And Paige, it's funny, you and Kay were just mentioning maybe when the competitors go up there, they get a sense of what they need. How critical is that, you think, to know I've got to get up and down, or do you just sort of, hey, you know what, if I make a par, I know 9 other birdies weren't made?
And I think that's what it is. I think ultimately everybody knows that par or birdie will be safe. Bogey is where you start to get into trouble, and I think that's exactly what these players are trying to do, is just be safe and advance. And I think for Alara, she's got the most difficult situation coming up, given the length of her putt. But she knows in her mind anything other than a 3 putt is likely going to mean something positive for her.
As a player, what would you do?
I don't think I would know. I don't think it would change my strategy at all. I think since I'm already on the green, I know I don't have to make birdie necessarily. Birdie obviously would be enough. I don't think I would even bother. I'd stay in my own bubble and do my own thing. But every single player is different on how much information they want to know.
Laura, 24 years of age, one of the 2 college graduates in the field here this week in Augusta, Georgia. She works. She's an auditor back in Spain, hasn't played competitively in 8 months, looked to be safely in, had a double bogey at the 17th, but then after a par putt on 18, you don't think this matters? Her former coach at South Carolina, Kaylin Anderson, on the bag. I spoke to Laura shortly thereafter, and this week is not about her. It's about the memory of her friend Sheila Barkeen of Rosamina, who was tragically murdered at Iowa State's golf course last fall.
This is not going to be an easy putt. She paced it off. It's a good 25 paces to the hole, which is basically what the hole is located on, so 75 feet. And she has to negotiate a ridge and really tap into the speed. That's very difficult to do.
I think the most difficult putt there is one that goes both directions, up and down, to judge the speed. We're seeing just that. It was always going to be about distance control at that length.
Tries to find time to practice after work during her downtime, but when you are away from the game for 8 months competitively, it's tough to stay razor sharp.
It's not just physical rust, it's mental rust as well.
Now Corpus for birdie.
Because her ball did not catch the ridge and filter down right towards the hole, she's got a very tough putt. It's going to be pretty fast, at least the first 10, 15 feet. Then it'll sort of flatten out and slow down just a bit.
Nicely judged.
Great effort by Corpus. Tap in for par will secure her spot at Augusta National Golf Club on Saturday morning. Now Andrea Lee for birdie from just off the green.
There's only 4 paces behind this hole occasion. So basically, this is a 15-footer. Setting up to play a low left to right break.
Just never turn that direction, but that will be good enough.
Almost had the sense she knew. 2 putts, a 4. Maybe she did a little investigating behind the green to see exactly what she needed. So Andrea Lee knows she's heading to Augusta National on Saturday morning. Couple players remain here at 10. Anna Redding has a birdie putt. Inoa Olara has a par effort as well. Looks like Redding will be next to play.
Came out of that just a little bit. You could kind of see the head move early, the club face stay open.
The best look at birdie of all 11 competitors, 8 feet up the hill, and lo and behold, she's got about a 2.5-foot slider remaining for par.
I would say that is the mistake of not knowing where you stand and knowing that a par would be enough to advance, and maybe being a little more ginger with the first putt there.
Now Inoa Olara, you see the yellow ribbon in memory of Celia. She has got a ball marker, a head cover, a towel from Celia's days at Iowa State. Came here saying, I'd love to win. I know she's with me. She told me an hour ago when she was struggling at 17, she could sense the presence of her good friend that she had known since she was 11 years of age. This for par to head to Augusta National on Saturday.
Indicating a little right to left break. A lot of times players like to verbalize what they see with their caddy. It helps them really hone in on what they want to do themselves.
That fooled me. That looked like it moved right.
Olara in with bogey 5. If Anna Redding makes this for par, it would be the 9th par of these 11 players in this first extra hole. They would secure a spot to Augusta National. Olara and Nobilio would head to 17, the par 3, making it a 2-for-1 playoff. But first things first, Redding trying to get in with 4. Anna Redding in with par. 9 players have secured a spot Saturday morning, Augusta National Golf Club, for the final round of the Augusta National Women's Amateur. But one spot remains. Yeah, they've accomplished exactly what they had hoped to do. Par was good enough. Bogey, not what you had hoped for, but still an opportunity. Still a chance to get that 10th and final spot in this playoff here at Champions Retreat.
Took 37 holes, but those 9 women I can imagine feeling right now a dream in the process of coming true to play competitive golf at Augusta National.
So we're going to make our way over to par 3, 17th page. What are they going to be facing?
It's a long but very downhill par 3, playing 8 to 10 yards downhill. There's a ridge that cuts the green in half from front to back, a large tier, the whole location on the top tier. It's about 8 paces above that ledge. So there is plenty of room if you do land it above the ledge, but you need to be bringing it in high. And today it's been a little bit breezy. It's an inconsistent in and off of the left for these players.
They head to the par 3 with 2 very different memories from earlier today. It was a double bogey 5 about 90 minutes ago for Ainoa Alara. It was a birdie 2 for Nobilio. So obviously good positive memories to tap into. How does Alara try maybe to forget about what happened a short time ago?
About resetting and focusing on the shot at hand, not what happened previously. 2
players remain. 1 spot up for grabs to head to Augusta National Golf Club on Saturday morning to get the 30th and final spot for that coveted opportunity in the inaugural Augusta National Women's Amateur. Kaylin Anderson, the caddy for Alara, her college coach during her days at South Carolina. And we talked about the birdie earlier today for Nobilio, and it wasn't easy.
No, I actually was watching this live as it happened. Up the ridge, again, it slopes a little bit away from the players going towards the hole, so it's that double speed that you need. You need to know enough to get it up the hill and then judge it as it goes back down the hill. It's a right to left breaker from that location. We saw a lot of players in that front right part of that ridge. It seemed to be a very popular place off this tee.
Nobilio first to go. How much of an advantage is it to potentially put the pressure? Now this is match play.
Yes. I think the biggest thing with this club in your hand, knowing it's a long shot down the hill, there's a lot of things to take into consideration. The wind, the elevation change. It's about just focusing on yourself, not necessarily the other player at this point for Nobilio.
Ideal shot is to land at 175, basically at the top of that ridge. Wind is not hurting so much as it's coming left to right. This has a great line. Yeah, that's a good safe shot.
Maybe would have expected that to take a bigger hop forward.
It's just hard when you're coming from that elevation. It comes in quite steep down into the green, so you're not going to get a lot of release. Even though you are hitting a longer club and the greens have firmed out, it is an opportunity for the players to fly it all the way to that ridge.
Now Alara, long iron in hand.
She definitely has an opening. I would say if she could aim this shot somewhere between her opponent's ball and the hole would be ideal. You don't want to mess with the left side. Ooh, that's going to the left a little. Is it enough? Oh, what a brazen shot.
Wow, what an aggressive line. And there was a sort of big kick forward. Thought that might end up closer, but why not?
Advantage of Alara in this situation. She certainly has an easier putt, less to deal with. She doesn't have that ridge that she's going to have to come up and over like we are going to see from Alessia.
You like the advantage there. What about the experience in the big picture? A 24-year-old going up against a 17-year-old. Both very nice resumes, but how much does that 7 years mean?
Experience is everything, and it's not just the number of competitive rounds you have under your belt. It's knowing what pressure does to your body. How do you respond physically and mentally in those situations? Nerves never go away. It's learning how to manage them, and that's where age and experience typically pays off in these kinds of situations.
Okay, you won back-to-back U.S. Women's Amateurs as it's now down to a 2-for-1 playoff. It really does become match play. What were some of the keys that allowed you to have such success in a moment like this?
Well, you still have a game plan for how you want to hit your shot or play the hole, but you finesse it a little bit depending on what your opponent is doing. So it's the person that's away can dictate things, but in this case, I think the first putt is going to be a little bit tough up and over the swale.
Laura, 8th in the world. Nobilio, even though just 17 years of age, she's 12th in the world. So everyone here we know is world class, or they would not have gotten an invitation. But maybe just because she's 17 doesn't mean she doesn't have a little game to back it up.
No, and we know she's headed to UCLA, one of the top college programs in the United States. So she's caught their eye. There's reason to pay attention. Like I mentioned, we saw it. The birdie that she made here in regulation was up and over the tier, slightly different angle. But certainly we've seen her judge the pace really well, as we did. Even though she bogeyed her first playoff hole, the lag putt was excellent pace, which is going to be necessary for this putt.
And Paige, both these players probably feel fortunate to go forward and that they weren't eliminated right away, even though they make bogey. This putt is difficult. Up and over that ridge. Uphill initially, then down, and looks like some left to right break as well.
Like she did earlier in the second round, Nobilio leaving the flagstick in.
Excuse me, make that right to left break. Boy, she had that line read beautifully.
You could see it pick up pace as it crossed the ridge, but not quite enough to get down there close enough to the hole where we could assume par.
Now, even though it's stroke play, Laura has this for birdie. She sees what Nobilio has remaining for par. What do you do?
You have to be conservative, but at the same time, she also knows she can close the door right here. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of layup in this putt. I think she knows she's got an opportunity in front of her she may not get again, and that is to be able to advance if she makes this putt.
However, she did run her last putt well by the hole, so that might be sitting in the back of her mind. This is downhill. I don't think it'll be hard to get some speed going on this putt.
She took an aggressive line off the tee. This for birdie to get the final spot to Augusta National on Saturday. A birdie on the second playoff hole. Good enough to go to Augusta National. Similar emotions when we saw her finish 18 in regulation. At the time, 3 over was good enough. It ended up in a playoff, a bogey on the first hole, then this at the second extra hole.
It was second life going to the second playoff hole, and she did not let this opportunity slip by. What an incredible 2 on a very difficult par 3 in the biggest of stages.
Awfully, awfully impressive. Ainoa Olara, 24 years old from Spain.
Yeah, thank you. Good job.
Yay!
So much fun.
Yes.
Way to go.
Ay.
freaking goosebumps.
I was putting this one.
I
need it.
I know. I was about to say something too. I'm like, this is for Celia.
It's for Celia, yeah? Thank you.
I've got a golf cart to take you back if you mind.
Thank you.
There's people to hug. Here's looking first.
That was fun.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That one.
Oh my
God.
Columbia, South Carolina, 3 hours away, where she played college golf. The hug with mom. There can be no better feeling to watch your daughter achieve a lifelong goal. One of the world's best gets to play Augusta National on Saturday. You saw her reference the band on her wrist right there. Talking to Kaylin Anderson, said, I was thinking about her. This one's for Celia. This week means so much to everyone, but perhaps not much more than you'll come across in storylines than Inoa Alara for her friend Celia Barquin Rosamina, who was murdered last year in Iowa. So it took 2 extra holes, Paige. 11 had the chance. 10 tickets punched to Augusta National. We knew we were in for something special, and the bonus golf certainly provided the drama.
It was an incredible 2 days, and looking forward to another good couple of days, Friday and Saturday.
Taking a look at the 30, moving on to Augusta National, led by the top-ranked amateur in the world, Jennifer Kupcho, Maria Fassi, the Annika Award winner from Arkansas a year ago, Sierra Brooks with a nice move today, Caitlin Papp as well. How about 16-year-old Zoe Campos? Opened with 68, didn't get off to the best of starts, but she kept things in check, and she's moving forward.
Yeah, we're seeing some familiar names as well as introduced to some new names in the youngsters that you mentioned in Campos, as well as Rose Zhang, another one of those young teenagers.
Marta Perez, Florida Gator, she'll be joining her teammate Sierra Brooks. Olivia Mahaffey was struggling early, made some birdies late coming in. The Northern Ireland product, a standout at Arizona State University. She'll be at Augusta National Golf Club on Saturday.
And Erica Shepard, the former U.S. Junior Amateur Champion, another big name in the American junior golf scene, will also be advancing.
She wrote a letter to herself when she was 12 saying a goal is to be the first woman to ever win anything at Augusta National in a tournament. We've seen the drive, chip, and putt success. Maybe with a special round on Saturday, she'll have the chance to do just that. 11 began this playoff, 10 move along. It took 2 extra holes, par for 9 of them were good enough at the 10th. Then the birdie putt by 24-year-old Inoa Alara from Spain, sending her to Augusta National Golf Club. Think, Paige, it was 1 year ago today where Chairman Fred Ridley announced that this tournament was going to happen. 365 days later, it has come to fruition for all these young women to have such an opportunity to have that 1 year to dream about what could be. They've got lifelong goals, but this one quickly became, how do we make this happen? We've talked to a lot of them this week to say this is now front and center to be a part of something special.
Yeah, and it's just an extremely prestigious event. Beyond the fact that it's the largest stage in golf that these young women will be playing, it's the best in the world. And for them to be able to compete, what they love to do, is incredibly exciting for all of them.
And we continue our coverage Friday as all 72 competitors have an opportunity to play a practice round at Augusta National. We will be live from Augusta National, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, getting you ready, the stage getting set, the storylines being created. We see the leaderboard. Plenty of drama, plenty of big names, plenty of names we're getting introduced to globally. And then we'll be back high noon, NBC, Saturday. You and I are going to be fortunate to be part of that coverage, the anticipation for what's going to happen 36 hours from now. We're both smiling as we're thinking about such a great chance.
I'm excited for Saturday, but even Friday, as these players take their first peek at Augusta National Golf Club, so do the viewers in this practice round, to be able to see some of the shots coming into it, to know what it's going to look like this week. We all get a little bit of a sneak peek both tomorrow and Saturday.
While we have a moment, let's go down to Kate Cockrell.
Thank you very much. Well, that was quite exciting. 11 players for 10 spots, and you grabbed one of those spots. Describe to me what that whole playoff was like.
The first one, I missed the fairway on the first hole. We were just thinking about like hitting the green and just make a par, but unfortunately I made 3 putts because I was quite far away from the hole. And then just went to the second one, and I hit a really good 4-iron that I make double bogey today in my round. So I was like, okay, I need to hit a good shot here, and then I just made the putt. So really exciting.
How were you able to be so aggressive with that shot on the tee shot on 17?
Honestly, I wasn't aiming exactly to where I hit it, to be honest. But I mean, I did really bad. Like I make double today in the round, so I knew what I wanted to hit it like now, and just hit it what I wanted, kind of, and just made the putt.
It's very powerful to be playing in the name of someone you love. Describe the sentiments and your feelings as you're out there all week playing for your good friend Celia.
It's been a really nice 2 days. Today, actually, when I just told Coach that when I was about to make the putt, I was touching my breast. I'm like, Cecilia, I need you right now. Like, I was like, I need you, and she held me. So, I mean, I felt that she's been with me all week, and I think that she's going to keep going with me tomorrow and the next day.
Well played. Congratulations, and we look forward to watching you play on Saturday at Augusta National Golf Club.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Guys.
Inoa Olara earning the 30th and final spot at Augusta National Golf Club on Saturday. But in this 11 for 10 playoff page, there was always going to be somebody that was going to leave here disappointed, and that's 17-year-old Alessia Nobilio.
Yeah, very disappointing finish for her, but what an incredible experience for this week. And I'm sure as she gains perspective on that, she will understand that this is just one moment in a long career of golf.
She's 17 years old. She's 12th in the world. There's a great chance she'll be here next year and the year after and can potentially learn from these 2 days to move forward for moving ahead in future Augusta National Women's Amateur Championships. Last look at the leaderboards. They will head to Augusta National, a practice round on Friday for all 72 competitors, then the top 30, the final round. Augusta National. How do you think they deal with what's in store the next day or two?
I have a feeling they're going to be taking a lot of notes tomorrow. We had an opportunity to see the golf course today at Augusta National Golf Club. And for those players that have not played here before, there's going to be a large yardage book of note-taking tomorrow in preparation for what will be an exciting finish on Saturday.
5 under par leads the way, 3 over, 8-shot differential from top to bottom. We've seen different outcomes happen at Augusta National in a final round.
That is without question. Exciting drama, and now the women will be a part of it.
Here are the 10 that move on in this playoff. The stage is set. 30 will be teeing off Saturday morning at Augusta National for the final round of the inaugural Augusta National Women's Amateur. For Kate Cockrell and Paige McKay.